No.
Would you give us a raise? I work hard.
What about you were going preschool?
No.
We'd have to get the water.
I'll go back and talk to you.
All right, so class of success. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff that's really going to help you be more fit. So the goal is to pull everything together of how to execute on all this exercise and fitness really well. Because I want to give everybody the opportunity to make sure that the objective of everything they're trying to do is met. Meaning that getting really sweaty and out of breath can happen anywhere. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to increase your performance. And we see that up front when a lot of people go, why am I not getting faster, stronger, whatever? Or why is so-and-so faster, stronger, whatever? And meeting those times versus I want to meet those times. Or how come my times aren't getting better? And maybe you're looking at somebody else, whether that's somebody you know or just somebody online or something. How did they get there? Whatever you're trying to fill in the gap with. And we're going to talk about why that's so important. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about goal setting. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about how you should view what you see in the media, for example, and what you see in fitness. And really just allow you to get set up so when you come in here, you know exactly, okay, the WOD should be done like this, the strength training should be done like this. What should I expect is the outcome from it? So, number one, trust the program, not the marketing. So this is, at first, we're going to kind of unveil a little bit of how you should view everything when you're getting set up. I don't care what program you do, P90X, CrossFit, Insanity, Olympic weightlifting, I don't care what you do that and do it well and do that one thing. Trust whatever program you really feel like is the best to get you fit and trust that and stay with that. Don't intermix anything. Now, obviously, you guys are on this program, so you're fine. But what I'm saying is that you don't need to deviate too much, and you don't really want to trust the marketing, and because that'll set you up for failure. And what I mean by that is it genetics or hard work, like Rich Froning? So everybody looks at this, or Camille LeBlanc, and they go, okay, how come I don't look like Rich Froning? How come I don't look like Camille LeBlanc? So if you don't know who these people are, these are the two winners, male and female, of the CrossFit Games last year, and he's won the last 4 years in a row. And a lot of people look at that and they go, well, I'm working out, I'm doing thrusters, I'm doing whatever, so I should be looking like that, or I should be as fit as that. And then it raises the question, Rich Froning is sponsored by BSN, Camille LeBlanc is sponsored by BSN, Rich Froning was sponsored by BSN, and now Rich is on Advocare. So it raises those questions of, should I take that supplement? Should I take that supplement? Should I push harder in my workouts? What should I do? Clearly, they're doing something that I'm not for them to look that way. I need to do that. I need to take whatever supplement they're taking. I need to take just 1,000 milligrams of whatever to get that fit. A lot of people, if they don't take supplements, will just up their workouts. They'll go, Rich works out 3 times a day, I'm going to work out 3 times a day. And if I work out 3 times a day, how come I'm not as fit as Rich? Or how come my times are actually going down? I'm actually getting less fit. Or how come every day just feels like I'm getting punched in the face? And that can be, you don't have to necessarily work out 3 times a day, but let's say you're typically coming 3 days a week. All of a sudden you see Rich Froning or Camille LeBlanc online and you go, that's it, I'm motivated now. I'm going to come 5 times a week and I'm going to do Olympic weightlifting and then I'm going to stay late and do the WOD and stuff like that. And I'm not hating on the people that do that. I'm just saying, let's say you go from 3 days a week to just madness. You don't have to work out 3 times a day, but what if you double the amount of time you're working out in a week? And then you just feel destroyed, like your body feels literally hot. Your maxes aren't going down. Aren't going up, they're going down. How come all the WODs feel like just a struggle? You feel like there's a sandbag on your back. You're doing more work, so you should look like that. You're taking more protein, so you should look like that. So we get that a lot. And I'm going to compare extreme examples. So what that means is I'm not going to compare Rich Froning. I mean, he looks jacked right there. or Camille to an average person, like somebody not at the games, because that would be unfair. That's like comparing a bodybuilder to somebody who's never worked out before. That scenario wouldn't make sense. So let's look at several other people that have made it to the CrossFit Games. So this is the beach workout from 2012. This is Graham Holmberg. He won the games in 2010. This is Ben Smith. He's gotten third twice. He's been like 6 times. And then you have a bunch of other people, and they're extremely fit, right? They're at the games. They're extremely fit. But comparing elite athletes to each other, why does Rich look like this and these guys look like that? Like Ben Smith has gotten third at the games twice, and he's not as jacked as Rich. Does that mean that Ben is lucking out? And he's just 215,000 people enter the CrossFit Open, and he just somehow lucked out. He's working out once or twice a day and eating chicken wings and hot dogs, because he's not really, I mean, if you were to take that away, that kind of looks like a normal guy, right? And then it's just like somebody hit the jacked button on Instagram for Rich Froning. So they're doing the same amount of work, is what I'm saying. Like, Ben has beaten Rich in several workouts at the games. They're both at the games. First place, third place, not that far off. So why doesn't he look like that? Is he just not taking BSN protein like Rich Froning? Or, what's the deal here? And when we look at genetics versus athletes gravitate what they're good at, towards what they're good at, what that means is Rich Froning was going to look like Rich Froning, and Ben Smith was going to look like Ben Smith. That was just going to happen. What's that guy's name? Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning and Tiger Woods were going to look like them no matter what sport they did. It's not that Peyton Manning looks like Peyton Manning because he plays football. He could have done anything that he wanted. Same with Tiger Woods. Same with Rich Froning or Camille LeBlanc. Camille did a lot of gymnastics before she got into CrossFit. She was going to look like that regardless. Rich would look that way if he said, hey, I never want to do CrossFit. I just want to lift and be really fit. He would probably just be one of those people that you would say have really good genetics and is just looking that way. So these guys, I'm using these two guys like Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning just because most people know who they are. But athletes gravitate towards what they're good at, meaning that people don't like doing things that they're really bad at on average. Meaning that at some point, I'm sure that Peyton Manning went out and threw a baseball and swung a golf club and then went bowling. And his parents were like, you kind of suck at all that. You're really good at this football thing.
I don't know. Do you know his dad?
Well, yeah, I'm giving you an example. Like, the typical athlete is going to gravitate towards what they're good at. So, Tiger Woods, obviously really good at soccer. At golf. Swinging a golf club, I know what he's good at. He's really good at golf. He might have I don't know. He might have loved soccer, but just wasn't that good at it. Naturally, people gravitate towards what they're good at. Rich Froning did CrossFit for 9 months before he went to the CrossFit Games the first year and got second, and only got second because he didn't know how to climb a rope and he fell off the rope, and that's why he got second. He was in the lead. So that is really rare. I mean, like, people trained for years to make it to the games, and he was just like, hey, I'm kind of good at this. And then because of that, he wound up looking that way. So what I mean by that is that athletes are going to look like athletes, and they're going to look like the sport that they play, and they're going to gravitate towards things that they're good at. So what that means is if somebody comes in and says, I just want to get fit, I just want to be in really good shape, and you've made that decision because of whatever predisposition you had coming in here. Maybe you just got fed up with how you looked or felt and wanted to make an improvement. And you said, I just want to exercise to get fit. These guys are doing it for a living. So for you to compare yourself to that and say, I'm working out, why don't I look like Rich Froning? That's a little unfair. And it's a little unfair to you because you're not working out as often as they are. You're not excelling in the sport like that. These are professional athletes. They're going to look like professional athletes. So don't jump the gun, and we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting. Don't jump the gun and think that because of exercise, because of supplements, because of more work, that you're supposed to look like that. Genetically, you could go to the CrossFit Games looking the way that you look now. That's just how you're going to look. I'm not saying you can't make improvements on it. Don't sit here and go, well, that's it. It's the best I'm going to do. What I'm saying is that if Ben Smith doesn't get as jacked as Rich Froning, it's not because Rich Froning's doing 5 extra sets of bench press or something. It's just genetically he's set up to look like that. That does not mean you can't lose the weight you want to look. It doesn't mean you can't see your abs. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that if you're going to compare yourself to the elite of the elite, it's going to take a while. And it's very frustrating, and we don't want to do that. So now that's going to lead into the next segment of goal setting. So most of you guys might have heard of this before, but you really want to make sure that as you're setting your goals, 2015, we did that goal card. As you're setting everything up, you want to make sure you set SMART goals. SMART in the sense of specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based or timely. And you really want to break your goals down like that. Meaning, and we're going to talk about how to break this down in a second, but typical person, what do they do? I want to lose weight. I want to get better at gymnastics. I want to be stronger. That's really vague. That doesn't mean anything. Do you want to do a strongman competition and do an axle clean, whatever that is? Do you want to do a bodyweight back squat, or do you just want to put weight on the bar? Okay, you want to lose weight. Are you just really muscular and you think you're too muscular and you want to lose some muscle mass, or are you really overweight or with fat mass? Like, what are you telling me here? When you set your goal, and I should be able to, if you wrote a goal on a piece of paper and left it in the gym, and I just picked it up, with reading that sentence, I should be able to know exactly what you're wanting to achieve without ever having a conversation with you. Because then, and only then, are we really chasing something. When we say I want to lose weight, when we say I want to get stronger, I should get better at gymnastics, yeah, you probably should, but what does that mean? Go to the Olympics in gymnastics? Or do you want to get your first muscle up? Or do you want to do a toe-to bar? Like, what are you trying to say? So, when you're setting these up, the acronym of this, don't look at it in order. I think everything was kind of, my assumption is that whenever this was made, they just put it in that order so it said SMART, it was easy to remember. I feel like using either the S or T to start with is best. Either get specific or time-based. Meaning, a lot of you guys are going to start here with time-based because you have something that you're wanting to go towards. You have that big trip in July. You're going to a family reunion, or there's something that you're going to train for. Maybe it's a race. Maybe it's whatever. And then you get specific. Or you might go specific first. You might just go, here's my goal. I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to get a muscle up. I want to get whatever. You have to define it. You have to be extremely specific with it. You can't just say, I want to lose weight. Okay, cool. Is that ever going to happen? Probably not. That's extremely vague. If you say I want to lose weight, that's an infinite measure that we can't say I've arrived at. You have to be able to define it to say that I achieved the goal. Because a goal without a deadline is just a good idea. So you have to be able to say, this is what I need to do. So I have to get specific with it. And then if you start here, you give yourself a timeline. You say, okay, I want to do a muscle up. I want to do blank. I want to lose this much weight. I don't care what it is. I want to squat double body weight. Assess where you're at now, get specific with it, and give yourself a timeline. Then you kind of work back from that and say, how am I going to measure it? Is it attainable within the timeline? And then is it realistic? I'll give you an example of something unrealistic. I cannot do a pull-up. I want to do a muscle-up in 3 months. Okay, well, I was specific. I said I wanted to do a pull-up. I gave myself a timeline, 3 months. I'm going to measure it by achieving the muscle-up, but is it realistic and is it attainable? No, I can't even do a pull-up. If I can't do a pull-up, how am I going to go pull-up, chest to bar, dip, and belly button to bar in 3 months? That progression is not going to happen. But let's say I'm on a red band or I'm on a blue band doing pull-ups, and I say I want to get 1 pull-up, or I want to get 3 kipping pull-ups, or 1 strict pull-up. There we go. All right, so we said something specific. Time-based. I want to get 1 strict pull-up and 3 kipping pull-ups within 2 months. Is it measurable? Yeah, because I told you exactly what I wanted to do. I want to get 1 strict pull-up and 3 kipping pull-ups in that time frame. Is it realistic? Yeah, because I'm using 1 little band. So 1 little band to being able to lift my body? Yeah, and is it obtainable? Yes. So you need to be asking those questions and setting that up throughout your goal setting, whatever it is. And revisit those as you're going through it. Don't just give yourself a vague goal or you're never going to get there. And it's going to be very frustrating because it's going to be two things are going to happen. One, it's going to be this infinite thing that you can never get to, or it's going to be constantly put off because you don't have to hold yourself accountable to anything. So you're either going to get frustrated that you never reach it, or it's just going to be, yeah, one day I'm going to get that muscle up there. That's my goal. Or one day I'm going to lose that X amount of weights. That's my goal. Because there's nothing there. There's nothing that you're chasing. There's nothing specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, or time-based. And when you're doing all this, you want to make sure that you set your goals to not be aesthetic or weight increase or weight loss. You don't want to do that. You can't control that. You can control it to the best of your ability with diet, exercise, staying focused, and not cheating. You can do all those things, but it's really an external factor. So it's difficult. You can't just make a decision in your brain to say, I'm going to lose weight. Because if you could do that, I wouldn't have a job. It's very difficult to reach whatever goal you set. That's why it's a goal, right? It's something hard that you're chasing. So you want to make sure you set your goal to something that you're in control of, meaning that you're in control of how often you work out, how many days a week you come. You can eat really well and exercise really well, and you might want to lose 3 pounds, but you only lose 2. Oh man, that's not a big deal. Don't make your goals based off size or something uncontrollable, and then you want to make them performance-based. That's what you want to do. That's what we're going to spend a lot of time talking about in strength and or conditioning. So which leads into the next part. You want to be well-rounded. You don't want to have just one goal that makes you excel at something because we don't want to have loopholes in your fitness. So as you guys set goals of what you want to do, something minimal or beat Rich Froning. I don't care. I'm just going to have a longer timeline, but let's do it. Be well-rounded. Have a 1 rep max goal. I want to squat double body weight. Okay, that's great, but do you even have a work capacity? What's your 3 to 5 rep max? I want to clean and jerk my body weight, but I want to be able to get 2 touch and go clean and jerks at 3/4 my body weight. Just something like that. I want to get my first pull up. And then, so all these are strength based, right? And so is this one. What about your conditioning? Are we going to say, I want to get better at Fran, Grace, run a mile. I want to do 100 wall balls without stopping. I want to come 4 days a week to class. Whatever. I don't care what it is. But you need to make it performance-based. Why? Because 1, you're going to win all the time. What that means is, let's say you set a goal of I want to lose 20 pounds. Until you lose 20 pounds, you kind of feel a little let down every time you get on the scale. You might get on the scale and lose 5 pounds, and that's great, but I still got 15 to go. There's still that something that's just not quite good enough. And it's only human nature that you're never going to look the way you want to look, and you're never going to weigh what you want to weigh. You're going to get to your special number and then go, man, if I could just lose a couple more pounds, or I lost all my weight here, but it's still hanging on. That's always going to happen. And then you're never going to look the way you want to look. I mean, that's because you're chasing this golden nugget. You're going to get there and you're going to go, if I just had a 6-pack. And then you're going to have a 6-pack and then you're like, oh, wait, I got a little fat here. And it'll get obsessive. You're going to be like, my earlobes are huge. And it's just, you can't chase that. And it's no fun. It's this external measure. Rather than measuring the fun stuff. And because if you're having fun with your fitness, you're going to come a lot more and you're going to have a blast. So let's use Fran for an example, just because you're doing it on Friday. 21, 15, 9 thrusters and pull-ups. Okay, how about your first goal to go RX on the weight and then do whatever you can on the pull-ups and bands or whatever. Second goal is go RX the whole way around. RX and weight, RX and pull-ups. Then let's set a goal of what we want to do. So let's say it takes you, I'll give you a perfect example. First time I did Fran, took me 17 minutes. I died, vomited everywhere. But so that was really difficult. Now you can look at that in a couple ways and you can go, like let's pretend that I was 30 pounds overweight and I just started working out. I could look at that and go, my Fran time is 17 minutes. I suck. I need to lose 30 pounds to get better. That was horrible. That's so negative. Rather than saying, I want to do what my Fran time is now, 3:39. So I could say, I'm going to go for a 3:39 Fran. All right? That's all I'm going to focus for and just go after it. What had to happen for me to be able to do that? I had to elevate my front squat. I had to elevate my press. I had to get better at pull-ups. I had to get better at a lot of things to shave off 14 minutes from my Fran time. And along the way, you're hitting PRs in your front squat. You're hitting PRs in your press. You're hitting PRs in your thruster. You're running faster. You got 5 pull-ups unbroken, 10 pull-ups unbroken, 15 pull-ups unbroken, and you won and you won and you won and you felt great. You felt like you were coming and accomplishing things. You felt like you were coming and getting better and just better every day and better than yesterday. You didn't have this negative correlation of I suck at Fran because blank. You said I need to get better at Fran, Grace, Elizabeth, Diane, whatever. Diane, 21-15-9 deadlifts and handstand push-ups. Okay, get better at handstand push-ups. I bet that if you can't do a handstand push-up, by the time you do 10 handstand push-ups, your body will look extremely different. So rather than saying, I need to lose weight to accomplish the goal, or I need to get fit to accomplish the goal, what's the goal? All right, if the goal is to get better at Diane, 21-15-9 deadlifts and handstand push-ups, how do you break down that handstand? And how do you do all these things to get better at a handstand push-up? You might be thinking, how can I do Fran when I can't even get a freaking pull-up? All right, cool. Get a pull-up. What's going to happen to you to get a pull-up? If you focus and only drive on achieving the task and the performance measure, so much will change in your body. All the CrossFit Games athletes, using an extreme example again, are doing Fran in like 2:30. Can they do Fran in 2:30 because they're fit, or did they focus on getting a 2:30 Fran and then became fit because of it? Focus on the task, achieve the goal. You want to run a 5-minute mile? Cool, but I bet you won't run a 5-minute mile until you are fit. And when you get fit and all you focus on is running that 5-minute mile, great. And then back it up. The big thing going around all the CrossFit Games athletes right now, the guys are trying to squat 500 and run a 5-minute mile. Okay, extreme example, all right? But look at that. They're not saying I want to look a certain way, all right? It's I want to achieve that task. Whatever it is for you. You might squat 100 pounds right now, and you might run a 12-minute mile. Cool. Squat 200 and run a 8-minute mile. What has to happen for you to do that? How many days a week do you have to come in and squat? How are you going to measure that? And you're going to constantly win. Because you want to know what you have to do to squat 200. If you're squatting 100, you have to squat 101. You have to squat 102. You're going to win 100 times in between 100 and 200. Rather than every time you're focusing on losing weight or something uncontrollable, or you're looking in the mirror saying, man, I want to look a certain way, so I'm going to try to get better at Fran. How about you just do Fran faster, and I bet you'll look fantastic. So focus on being well-rounded in your goals. Okay, cool. That sounds good. How do I reach them? All right, so you want to look at it this way. You want to look at this pyramid. You guys have probably seen this a lot. The base of everything is nutrition. I don't care where you train, who you train with. I don't care if the person you train with thinks that you should do segmented training of biceps and back, or if you should run a marathon 8 days a week. I don't care what anybody thinks. I think we can all say that nutrition is perfect. I mean, that's... You put crappy gas in your car or no gas in your car, you're not getting anywhere no matter what training you're doing. So that is nutrition challenge, schedule your consultation with me, focus on your nutrition, all of this that's there. Okay. Then at minimum, you have to have a base of some type of conditioning or some type of metabolic conditioning, both in strength and in endurance. So we entered this new mesocycle where, like today, you had this giant monster mash where you're just trying to maintain a level load across the whole deal. Or you might notice that every Monday is a little bit longer of conditioning. You can't just focus on your strengths, because if you do that, then you're going to have all these loopholes in your weaknesses. You have to have that baseline of conditioning. Conditioning both cardiovascularly and in strength. Meaning that I don't care how much you can squat one time if, when we do like the back squat clusters on Wednesdays, if you're dying, you can't even finish, weight's falling off the bar left and right, doesn't mean anything. There's a loophole. That's why it doesn't mean anything. You don't want any loopholes. You want to be well-rounded. This is fairly easy to achieve. This is what everybody likes to do. We talked about how people gravitate towards things that they're good at. The metabolic conditioning, everybody can usually achieve this pretty quick. Why? Because everybody's fine with rowing. I mean, generally, right? But everybody's fine with running or complete this one task. It's the crazy stuff that nobody likes. Gymnastics and body control stuff. So that's the next tier. So now once you have a baseline of conditioning, that's great. Just like today. We said, all right, cool. You have a baseline of conditioning. That's awesome. Now express it. Express it in a barbell plus an Olympic lift plus a gymnastics movement like a toe to bar or a pull-up. We want you to express it. And that's where it gets difficult. Now, then you have weightlifting and throwing. Don't look at this pyramid as like less people are doing it. Look at it in the sense of what makes you fit. What's the driver? So weightlifting and throwing. Throwing could be like a wall ball or something like that, or it could be throwing this way. We don't throw a lot that way. But we do a ton of weightlifting. Weightlifting in the sense of Olympic weightlifting. You are working so many muscles. You are going so fast. You're stimulating so much growth hormone and so many more positive things by doing Olympic weightlifting. Weightlifting, 2 words. So weight space lifting is Globo Gym. So like this. First off, all this stuff you see in a gym, I know you guys know that I love Globo gyms, but this is a gym move. This was never done anywhere until somebody made a machine that said, hey, we should do this. This will make you fit. And then you went and picked up the groceries. You went and played with your kids. You went and chased after a ball. That's not going to translate into real life application. Weightlifting, 1 word, is Olympic weightlifting. And that should be done at any age. The Chinese start at age 5. That is a full body movement. I'm having to take external load, pull, jump, pull myself under. There's a YouTube video going around right now of an Olympic weightlifter. And when you do a 1 rep max box jump, you should stand here and jump on the box. You're not allowed to step into it. He's right here, and it's 54 inches, so about right here. Just boom. Yeah, because if he can clean 400 pounds, that means he has to jump with 400 pounds, pull and catch. Jump on a box. Easiest thing you've ever done in your life. But when you segment the training, so when you do weight space lifting and you get this or whatever, and then you jump on a box for the first time and tear your ACL, well, we didn't really get more fit doing that. So this is a big component. And the reason weightlifting and throwing is above gymnastics is only because you learn a lot of body control here. So much body control and so many fundamentals of movement. Anything from the hollow body to the pull-up to whatever, but you can't lift an external load. And you might be able to do 100 pull-ups without stopping, but that doesn't help you in real-life application. In real-life application, you are always moving an external load. Whether that's a child, whether that's the groceries, whether that's mulch in the yard, whatever it is, you have to be able to weight lift to have real-life application. And then the sport. The sport is what you're trying to achieve. The sport is fitness. You are participating in the sport of fitness. The sport is Fran, Grace, Isabel, 1 rep max, 5 rep max, run a mile. All that is sport. So it's not one segmented sport of get better at a 5K, get better at tennis, get better at whatever. It's not one thing that we know what it's going to look like. We're going to say the sport of fitness. And we're going to measure fitness as a broad, general, inclusive fitness in its work capacity measured across broad, time, and mobile domains. Meaning whether that I say something short, something long, something fast, something light, something heavy, something gymnastics, something body weight, you need to be able to do it. And he or she who performs the task statistically on average the fastest is fittest. So if you can front squat more than me, and you can run faster than me, and you can snatch more than me, and you can do more pull-ups than I can, you're more fit. But it doesn't matter if you got this 500-pound back squat, and then we do Fran, it takes you 17 minutes. It doesn't matter because there's a loophole in your fitness. So everything here is about building the sport, and you build the sport of fitness. You focus on your nutrition, base of metabolic conditioning. You hone your gymnastic skills, improve on your weightlifting and throwing to get better at the sport. For example, Karen, 150 wall balls for time. If you can front squat double body weight, a 14-pound ball is not very difficult to do. But if you are front squatting the bar, yeah, 150 wall balls at 14 pounds is going to be kind of toasty. So if we elevate all of these things, then boom. But if I can front squat double body weight, but I can't jog around the parking lot, no, 150 wall ball is going to be horrible. So there's no loopholes. So then we have to ask ourselves, how do we do that? And it's all done through skills and drills. So this first part, we're going to call this performance. Don't worry about this. This is the sexy stuff. Performance equals weight. So this is, I can squat 100 kilos. I want to squat 102 kilos. I want to squat 105 kilos. I can do Fran at 339, but 330 is better. 315 is better. This is all the cool stuff. So now we're going, okay, I set these goals. I set something specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and a time-bound goal. I understand that I need to get better at the sport of fitness, and I need to get better at that sport of fitness through a baseline of nutrition, metabolic conditioning, gymnastics, weightlifting and throwing, and then get better at the sport. And the sport is going to be consisted of performance. Performance equals the outcome. So I can lift more, throw more, run more, backflip, whatever, however you want to measure it. And then under that, how do I do that? If I want to get better at performance, what do I need to do? So when we look at that, you can look at it any way. You can say, for example, football, all right? I don't know anything about football, but you guys know a lot about football. I don't know a lot about football, but I know one thing about football, that you don't play a game every single practice. You don't go out and play a full game of football every single time. Just like we have different days, right? We have your test. Your test, for example, next Friday, you're doing Fran. That is your test. What have you been doing for the past couple months? You've been doing skills and drills to get better. Just like a football player does not play a full game of football every day, there is some type of weightlifting, there is some type of agility work, there's skills and drills with the coach, there might be a morning and evening session. There are skills and drills. So look at all these red lines. All these red lines are going to be skills and drills of things that you get better at to elevate performance. So we talked about football. All right, let's talk about your case. These little blue boxes here. Give it a goal. A double under, a pull-up, a chest to bar pull-up, a double body weight back squat, whatever you're trying to do. So these are our goals. And then in there, we have the skills and drills of everything that we need to do. So performance is made up of goals, and the goals are made up of skills and drills. So if I say I want to do a double under, we talk about this all the time. Don't come in and just do the double under all the time. You need to get better at jumping rope. So if you want to do a double under, you need to get better at jumping rope. That does not mean just do a bunch of singles. That means get fancy with it, go backwards, go on one leg, shuffle, try the agility ladder, skills and drills. You elevate your skills and drills. Give you a perfect example. Not Monday as in 2 days, but the Monday after that, you're going to max out on a clean and jerk. So we can put a clean and jerk in here. Everybody's got the number in their head of what they want to do, right? 5 pounds higher, 10 pounds higher. Little red lines, skills and drills. What was yesterday? 5 sets of 3, pause, front squats, a 3-second pause at rock bottom. What was Thursday? You had the 1, 2, 3 press, push jerk complex, followed by 1 split jerk on the minute at 90%. That was a linear progression up from 87% before, 85% the week before that. You don't really have to worry about that kind of stuff too much because we take care of all the programming, but those are skills and drills. That is your training to get better at the goal. Those goals get better, performance goes up. Football player runs faster than a 440, performance goes up. What did he have to do in his skills and drills to run that 440? So these are your skills and drills. Also, this can be non-workout based, meaning I want to get better to overhead squat. I look like I am about to break in half when I'm doing an overhead squat. Should I do overhead squats all the time? No. Because why? You shouldn't play a game of football every time you go out to exercise. But what should you do? You should probably do the cool down that's on there every day. But you might say, I'm going to practice thoracic spine extension. I'm going to go to the website, look under skills and drills, and look at all the mobility stuff on there. I'm going to practice getting my shoulders back farther, and I'm going to do everything that it takes to do an overhead squat. Now, the weight of how much you can do on overhead squat can't be advanced until your body is open and fluid enough to do an overhead squat. So you might say snatch. I want to snatch my body weight. That's pretty cool when you can snatch your body weight. That's if you guys are wondering of goals to chase. What has to happen to do that? Skills and drills, all right? Obviously, yeah, you can't snatch your body weight until you snatch half your body weight, and then so on and so forth. But that's weight-based. You have to get better at the movement, right? So things like coming to Olympic weightlifting or looking at the videos that get sent out in the newsletter or warming up and cooling down with empty barbell drills, all those are skill and drill based to get better at the goal. The goal gets better, performance goes up. Performance goes up, you get more fit, and you just conquered everything in every other slide. So that's what you're trying to accomplish. And then how to view the WOD. So now what we're looking at is we're saying, okay, we stimulated a lot of questions, but how do I use this conditioning to get better at everything? What you should have done by now, not by now, not like literally right now, but by the time that you reach here, like in your mind when you go home and visit everything and think about it, you should have set some goals. You should have set some weight bearing, some conditioning bearing. And then you should have said, okay, I'm going to make them SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. You should have written it out. Remember, if you write down those goals on a sheet of paper and that sheet of paper gets left in here, I should be able to pick it up and read exactly per sentence and know exactly what you want to do. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter who you are, but I should be able to, I shouldn't go, this person wants to lose weight. What does that mean? I should be able to go, oh, okay, this person by March wants to get their first pull-up. They want to lose 10 pounds, like boom, boom, boom. And then you can even break it down to how you're going to do it. But you will have done that. Then you will have started to look at everything like sport. And how you should view the WOD is, one, increase skill to perform at a higher intensity in the WOD. Notice we didn't necessarily say strength. Strength will come over time. Skill has to be improved. If you want to raise your level of metabolic conditioning, try a double under. I promise you, 100 double unders for time will get you way more fit than 100, 200, 300, even 400 single unders. Now, don't look at that and go, I just can't do that double under. Red lines, are you doing the skills and drills to reach that blue box of getting better at the double under? And I'm just using that as an example. That can be broken down with anything. But if you do a workout that is single unders and snatches, how do you get fat, or how do you get more metabolically conditioned? You could say, lift the barbell more times. Yeah, I get that. But what if you just double unders? And then it starts getting crazy, right? I know we get a little crazy with it. People do double unders, and some freaks are out there doing triple unders, and some guy just did, what did he do, a 5 under? Yeah. Okay, that's a little out there. You don't have to do that. I'm just saying that if you can elevate skill to elevate performance, meaning that if you do Fran with bands, so I'm going to reiterate this because I don't want you to think that I'm putting somebody down that's on bands, but Fran on ring rows is not as difficult as Fran on bands, which is not as difficult as Fran on pull-ups, which is not as difficult as when we do Fran with chest to bar. Or what about 12, 9, 6, 3 Fran heavier weight and muscle ups? We elevate intensity based on your relative skill. So really what that means is that you just need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and don't get complacent. Meaning don't say that I'm good doing my pull-ups, where's my black band and my green band? Because that's what I use for those pull-ups. It's where's that constant progression of where we're going to be. And I know that I'm talking like bands and stuff, but for those of you guys that are looking at me like, oh, I'm already off bands, that's cool. Have you been practicing butterfly? Have you been practicing butterfly chest to bar? Have you been practicing doing the butterfly and re-gripping? Are we practicing kipping? Are we practicing translating skill into all the movements? Skill goes up, you get more fit. So we need to be elevating skill. If you can do a triple under, I promise a double under is just all day long. And that's like when we do the heavier load that we've been doing for the past 2 weeks to get better at the test of Fran next week at a lower load with an easier gymnastics skill. Never save your strength training for the WOD. I get this all the time. That is your weightlifting and throwing. You have to get stronger if you want to do the WOD faster. Now, I get that a lot of times you're like, everybody will come in and like, oh, I like the WOD today. I can't wait to do well. And then the strength training destroys you and you're like, well, I was feeling good, but now I feel like I'm going to die. Don't save anything for it because you have when your tests come. So you're not training for the day, you're training for the test. We're trying to test your fitness. So you haven't been training for several months to come in and do that day's workout. You've been training for several months to end the mesocycle, for example, and do Fran on Friday. So it's all just study materials. Like the heavy thrusters and chest to bar you did yesterday was study materials to get better for the test on Friday. So you don't necessarily need to worry about, I'm going to be so exhausted, I'm going to do this, whatever. When the test comes, you're going to kill it. Like, think about if I had you run 400-meter sprints with a 60-pound sandbag, and you did that like 8 times. And then I took the sandbag away and I said, go run a mile as fast as you can. It would probably be your fastest mile time. So we're trying to make things a little harder to make them easier when the test comes around. So don't save it in your strength training. When it's max out time, hit that max. Don't worry about what the WOD is that day. Work as hard as you can in your back squats, your shoulder to overhead, because when that stuff elevates, all your performance indicators go up the thing. So It's just like relating to football players. If you've ever seen them like run, they're doing like wind sprints with that parachute across their back. I mean, I'm not making their program. I don't know what they got to do before that and after that. But if you can give everything you have running down a football field with a parachute on your back, and then we go play a game on Saturday or Sunday, and I take that parachute off, and I say, all right, go catch that ball, you can run significantly faster. That is your test of did the skills and drills get better. So your test is a matter of did I get stronger? Did I build my baseline of conditioning? Did my gymnastics movements get better? And then listen to the WOD objective. We try to go over that every day, or what the objective of the WOD is. And as we've given more communication, we listen to your feedback. And we understand that you like more communication. So when you go to the website, that's why you'll see almost a paragraph and a half written out of the new mesocycle in week 1, week 2. And listen to that stuff and say, okay, the objective, is it to go heavy? Is it to go fast? Should I go light? Should I go unbroken? What am I trying to do? Yesterday, we talked a lot about how you should be viewing the weight on the thrusters. How should we be setting ourselves up for getting unbroken, whatever? Because that has a long-term objective for it. And listen to those objectives and execute on those objectives rather than just come in, get really sweaty and exhausted, and then I'm done. Because you can go anywhere and do that. If that's all you want to do, go do whatever you want to do. You might not get more fit. I shouldn't say you won't, but you might not. Because you can get really sweaty, really out of breath, but we're not really measuring anything. And then pacing is key. Pacing does not mean slow. Pacing means, go back to the first slide, Rich Froning. Everybody's like, that guy is just an animal. He is, but he gets beat a lot, and people don't really realize that. And I'm using an extreme example, but remember, statistically on average, he or she who performs the given task on average is fittest. So if I can perform on average better than you can, I'm going to be more fit. Well, he works at 85% capacity. You will notice that guy never comes out of the, well, I shouldn't say never, I've seen him a couple times, but he never runs out of the gate just killing everything in sight. There's usually some dude you've never heard of runs out, and then you're like, wow, that guy's going to do really good. And then 5 minutes later, oh, nope, last place. Perfect example, Jordan Troyan, this year's CrossFit Games, won the pull workout. Event number 2, 1 rep max overhead squat. Literally, this is what they said, dead last. It's like, oh, didn't even say last. They said he was in dead last. Loophole in your fitness. Don't excel too much in one area to give up in others. So pacing is key of how you're going to finish it. Because if you don't want to come out so hard in the WOD that you just die halfway through, you want to maintain work the entire time. And that is work capacity. Work capacity measured across broad time and modal domains. Breaking that down even one step smaller, let's look at Fran, just because we've been talking about it. 21, 15, 9 thrusters and pull-ups. Most people look at it as total time accomplished. I can look at it and go, okay, you did thrusters and you did 21 unbroken, but then you stared at the bar for 3 minutes and didn't do any pull-ups. So that didn't really get us anywhere. What if you went 3 sets of 7 and moved from the bar onto the rig and then did the pull-ups? For example, most of you guys know Taylor Taylor was in class last night, and I had done the workout, and I just whispered to him. I told him when I did the workout, and I was like, hey, try to beat this time. And he wound up beating it, and he had a way better strategy than I did. I was doing all 6 thrusters unbroken. I would wait a little bit and then get back to the bar. What he'd do, 2 sets of 3 thrusters each time and then go to the bar. There was less time spent staring at the bar. There was a more even work capacity. Even if you break up your sets and keep working, that usually results in a faster time rather than going unbroken all the time because you want to get the work done and then you're just staring at the ground. Above all, though, excel in sport. So these pictures have different things on them. I didn't mean to choose like Rich and Camille and stuff. They were just what popped up. So she's doing a clean and jerk. This workout was an interesting workout. It was 5 rope climbs, clean and jerk, 4 rope climbs, clean and jerk, all the way down to 1 rope climb and then clean and jerk. And every time you did a clean and jerk, the weight went up. Try doing that. Like, right? I mean, come on. If you can climb a rope and you can do some clean and jerks, you're going to wind up being really fit. Don't look at that and go, I can't do that. I know you can't. That's the point. What I'm saying is what has to happen for you to climb a rope? Don't worry, we got one in the back. It's going to go up. But what has to happen for you to do that? At first, you need to be sitting on the ground and pull yourself up with your arms. You probably need to get a pull-up. That's fine. These are things to chase. Those are those goals we talked about. But if you can do that, she's not climbing ropes because she's fit. She's fit because she climbs ropes. And you need to look at that and say, how do I achieve that? That would be Froning hitting a 3-rep max overhead squat at 305. He is not fit because he can overhead squat 305. I'm sorry. No, he's not. He doesn't overhead squat 305 because he's fit. He's fit because he overhead squats 305. And what you want to do is don't go, oh man, can't do 305, out the window, never mind, forget about it. Okay, have you practiced your thoracic spine extension? Are you stable in the bottom? Have you tried jerking from the back rack? Have you really, do 100 overhead squats with an empty barbell and just see how it opens up your body. And I mean like 10 sets of 10. Can you do a one-handed handstand freestanding? No, that's fine, okay, cool. But are you practicing a handstand against the wall? Are you practicing a handstand against the wall and then touching your shoulders? Are you practicing a wall walk where you come up and touch your nose to the ground? Are you practicing a handstand where your feet are on the box and your hands are on the ground? I don't care how little we go with it, but you progress it into that. These are the things that you're chasing. And I promise that you are going to win way more than you're going to if you set an external goal like lose some weight. A pistol squat. A lot of people go, I can't do a pistol squat. Okay, that's fine. But there's a really good program by Jim Wendler, who you see a lot of his stuff, like we do like the 5-3-1 back squats and stuff. He's got a good program called Boring But Big. And it's really boring. You lift a lot, but you get really big. Ankle mobility. Yay, ankle mobility, right? Like how often do you come in and work on your ankle mobility to be able to do a pistol squat? You're most likely strong enough because you guys can squat a significant amount of weight. But do you do the boring stuff of ankle mobility? Because this stuff's sexy, right? Like it's pretty cool. I mean, a couple 100 pounds, I'm on one hand. I'm doing a muscle up. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Ankle mobility Tuesday. Nobody wants to do that. So you have to chase all the things that you don't necessarily want to, or all the loopholes, to become better at sport. And if you become better at sport, you become better at everything. And you get more fit. Those goals are accomplished, and that's how you use the why to get better over time. Is you don't say, I need to get more fit. Don't say, I need to get in better shape to do the WOD better. Focus on the WOD, execute it really well, listen to the objectives, set goals, do it better, and you'll get more fit. And that's how it works. Questions? Oh, I just get clapping. Okay.